Hey guys, what is up? We are here today with another Kali tutorial thing. Not quite sure what to call it, but today we're going to pop a box, I think. So right now, I have a Kali VM running, and I have a server running that you can't see. It is a server that's specifically vulnerable. So we're going to go ahead and go through the steps of enumeration and figure out exactly how we're going to attack this box and enumerate the services running on this box, find the box in the first place, and things like that. So we're going to go ahead and get started here with a little bit of ZenMap. Now, ZenMap is a GUI front end to Nmap. Nmap is a very popular scanning tool, and I like ZenMap because I like GUIs. Sorry. If you don't like GUIs, then you can use Nmap. It works just fine, honestly. But I'm going to go ahead and use ZenMap for this example because it's a little bit clearer, it's a little bit easier to read, and honestly I just like it better. That's just me though. So we're gonna open up ZenMap and we're going to figure out what our IF config is. So we got a address at 172.16.05 and see what our route is. Looks like it's 172.16.00 with a net mask of 255.255.255.0. That does make sense. So we're going to go ahead and translate that into IP speak, I guess. We're going to do 172.16.0.0/24. And we're going to do a quick scan plus. Now this is going to detect all of the IPs on the current subnet, and it's going to give us a vague idea of what's running on them, enumerate a couple of services, common ones, and it's going to kind of try and fingerprint the OS that's running on them. So we're going to let this scan for a second, and we'll come right back to the finished result. So we've got a couple of results, 01, 02, 03, 05, and 07. So we already know that 05 is us. And 01, 2, and 3 are actually part of the base networking scheme for VirtualBox. So we're going to go ahead and ignore these. I know for a fact that these are things that are actually just part of the virtual network, which is fine. It's not the end of the world here. But what I'm really interested in here is this 172.16.07. So as you can see, it found a couple of open services, open ports and services. And it discovered the fingerprint. Well, it didn't quite discover the fingerprint, but it got a MAC address and a few general ideas of what we're working with here. So you can take a look at the host details, and you can see what Linux version it's running with a fair amount of accuracy. In this case, 100%, but generally it's not quite that high. So this is the more important bit here. This is what's running on this box. Now this isn't a full enumeration of every single port on the box. This is just a list of the common ones that this scans for if it hits a target. But this is more than enough to get us started here because we've got SSH, we've got actually a 53 is open too, which is kind of interesting. More importantly though, we've got 80 and 44. Oh no, not 443. Sorry, we've got port 80 open, which is a general HTTP port, and the banner grabber managed to grab us an Apache HTTPD banner there, which means that we definitely have a web service running on this port. Generally, we have a POP3 and IMAP, which is again slightly uncommon, but generally we have these other services here that are not usually labeled with a banner. Means they're open, but not necessarily running the services that we're expecting here. So we're going to go ahead and open up a web browser, and we are going to, let me just grab this again. It's 172.16.07. Let's see what is on this thing. We've got welcome to Quienar? Not quite sure, honestly. And click here to know what you need to do. Well, I guess we're going to click. We're going to inspect this in a minute here, but I want to see what's on the other side. We've got Hack the Planet, which is just an image. All right. Interesting. So let's view the page source, see if we got, wow. There is nothing. There is nothing here. Got quar.jpg, quar? Oh god. I'm gonna spend forever on this. And then this is literally just a JPEG file. There's no reason to inspect it. Okay. So another thing I like to do here is to check Wappalizer, which is available on Chrome. A lot of people ask, hey, why don't you use Firefox? It's because Firefox doesn't have a lot of these really cool little extensions that really help with debugging. Specifically, the ones I like to use are Edit This Cookie, Wappalizer, Shodan, and HTTP headers, which a couple of these are available in Firefox, but not all of them. So I use Chrome for that reason. Now, Wappalizer is telling me that I have an Apache 2222, which we saw in the Nmap, and it is running an Ubuntu system, which we did not see with Nmap. So we know for a fact that this is now running Ubuntu and Apache 2222. So the first thing that I generally do, just real quick, is 2.2.2.2. Is it 22? Oh, frick. 22.22. Jesus Christ. There we go. Let's see if there's any exploits here for 2222. There are a fair amount of them, but none of them are rated 10, and it seems that none of them have any Metasploit modules. So this isn't a low-hanging fruit. So we're going to skip that for now. I'm going to keep it as a note, but we're going to skip it for now, just to see if there's any more low-hanging fruit around here anyway. I'm going to go back to our Nmap scan, and we're going to take a look here and see if we can find anything that might be vulnerable. This Samda might be vulnerable. It seems to be on the default work group, which looks interesting enough. I don't see a specific version number, so I'm not going to look that up just yet, but what I wanted to... Oh yeah, also... Ubuntu, I wonder what it could possibly be running. So, things I should have looked at before. So I'm going to guess devcot, ISC bind. None of these are particularly vulnerable, I don't think. So what I want to do next is I kind of want to explore the website a little bit more. And how do I do that? The easiest way to do that is going to be using fuzzing tools such as dir fuzz, what the fuck is that? dir fuzz, directory fuzz, or just similar tools. So we're going to go ahead and open up one of those real quick. Alrighty, so we're going to open up a program called dir buster, and it is a tool made by OWASP. Again, it's a GUI. I like GUIs. You can use CLI programs. There are many ways to do this in Kali. I like this one. This one's totally fine. Use whatever you're comfortable with, honestly. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to browse for a list of directories here. So we're going to do about 30 threads. We're going to start off with that anyway. And we're going to just paste this in real quick. I'll tab back over. There we go. So http:// oops, I forgot that does that automatically. Yay. And we're going to skip the files because this is only a directory list. And we are going to go for this, I think. Yes. There we go. Perfect. So now we've got many lists of everything. And we're just going to let this go. So we can see here our found results. And I'm going to just kind of explore these as we go here. Icons. That looks interesting. It's probably just a bunch of icons. Let's see. Oh, no. Getting some false positives, I think, here. Yeah, 403s. All right, interesting. Icons, doc, 403, 200 for upload, though. That's interesting. Let's see if it's correct. Ooh, it is. What is this? I'm kind of curious. Lepton CMS 2 series. This looks interesting. So I'm going to keep this on the back burner here. Got a CGI bin giving off a 403, upload index, upload search. Oof, this looks delicious. Oh my. All right, hang on a minute. Hang on. Put this on hold for a second. I'm kind of curious about this WordPress install. Is this a WordPress install? Hang on, let's see here. Aha! It is indeed a WordPress install. Now we've got WordPress 3.9.14. All right, so they didn't hide the version not nearly well enough. So WordPress 3.9.14, just looking for some vulnerabilities here just to see if they exist. Doesn't look like, well, I mean, there's a code execution, remote. Well, okay, we'll take a look at that in a bit. But here's what we're going to do with this. We are going to use a specific tool for, actually, let's just pause this for a minute because I think, many things. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and pause that for a second. And we are going to use another specific tool called WP Scan. So this is going to, just a quick help banner here, is going to help us enumerate plugins and find vulnerabilities in this WordPress install. So I'm kind of curious here. Let's go ahead and start this scan. Let's see what comes up. Oh, first is going to do a quick update because of course it is. Alrighty, so let us take a look at what it has found. I'm kind of curious here. It looks like it's found quite a bit, but these may be partial or possible matches and not full matches here. So it looks like it's found some, yes, it's found the headers, PHP 5.3.10, which we did not see earlier. So we're going to grab that in a bit here. Actually, this is what the headers is for over on this side, just in case I missed things over on this side. It will, the PHP over here. I can actually take a look at this and see what's being returned. Yes, so it's being powered by PHP 5.3.10, which again is interesting. We have a version number, which we can search for vulnerabilities with. And let's see, XML RPC, which can be useful depending, meh. The upload directory has a listing enabled, which looks very interesting. I would like to see that in a bit. And there's a readme.html, which exposes the version number, which is even better. And 3.9.14, there are, yes, a couple of interesting things with that. 29 total vulnerabilities detected. I'm not sure, again, if these are false positives or not, but we can check those in a bit. Now, let's scroll down real quick just to see if there's anything else. 2014 is in use. Version is out of date, but it doesn't look like there's any vulnerabilities. And finally, the plugins, which are always the most exciting and most fun. The plugins we have here is Mailmaster. Unauthenticated local file inclusion. That sounds fun. Ooh, SQL injection. Even better, yes. All right. Let's see, no DB exports, no themes, no config backups, it's fine. There isn't, I'm sorry, what? Okay, so there's an admin user. That's interesting. There's a WordPress user. Okay. I'm kind of curious, right? So by default, WordPress gives you the admin page, or the not the admin page, the admin username and admin password, right? So what if we just do a login.html, just out of curiosity? Oh, is it not login? Used to be something else. Hang on. Let's try WP login. Is it WP login? Fuck, it is WP login. Okay, so where there's a default username, it's usually a default password. Just out of curiosity, let's try that. Okay, so we're in. Congratulations, you are now a hacker. I wasn't expecting it to be that easy. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're going to pop this box. And here's what I mean when I say we're gonna pop this box. We are going to open Armitage, another GUI that everybody loves to hate, but nobody can explain to me exactly why they love to hate it, except that, you know, it uses a bit more RAM and it's fun looking. Again, use what tools you're comfortable with. If you like using Metasploit, great, use that. Armitage is basically a GUI for Metasploit. If you like not using Metasploit because you're a crazy person, use whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to use Armitage because A, it looks cool, B, it's a GUI, and C, honestly, it's just easier this way. So we're just going to go ahead and open up Armitage, and I will see you in a second. Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do is use this payload called the WP admin shell upload, which basically just allows us to type in the hostname port and gives us a username and password for the admin. And then we'll create a reverse shell for us using the plugin automatically. So we're going to go ahead and use a reverse connection. The reason for this is because otherwise we're going to end up opening a new port on the machine, which A, we may not have access to, and B, will just create nightmares for other people and us later, because other people will then have access to it. So let's not do that. Let's have us communicate back to us specifically, and we'll go ahead and type in the username and password here. So username is admin, the password is admin, and this is going to go to 172, or yes, it's actually going to go to, yeah, boop, 172.16.07/WordPress specifically. So we're going to change a couple of default settings here. It's not a huge deal. There we go. The port is still 80, says SSL is off. And we're going to go for WordPress. Looks good. We'll go ahead and just do that, just in case it doesn't love me. There is no vhost. Vhost would be, so the IP address, or the R host is actually the IP address. The vhost is going to be the actual server name, so you can translate the server name into an IP address, or the website name into an IP address, and it'll use the vhost as well. So I'm going to launch that and wait for this to... Fantastic. So now we are www.data at Quarar. That thing. So we're going to open up a Meterpreter shell. And also, just out of curiosity, I want to grab the files around here. Oh, nope, I don't have permission. I'll have permission to access the www data, but I got to figure out what folder that's in. I'm going to guess it's the default, but I would rather have it give me an actual shell here for a second just to see where I am. There we go. So I just CD'd into var www, which again, I just assume that's kind of where we are, and just did a ls there. I'm guessing when this uploads the plugin, my best guess, when this uploads the plugin, it deletes it immediately, so it doesn't show up in the plugins list. I can actually verify that, but my guess here is that the current working directory does not actually exist. So now I do have access to all of these delicious files. Let's actually go ahead and interact explore using this. I'm just going to do var www, whoops, that. Ah, fantastic. Look at this deliciousness. So we're going to go ahead and download anything that we want, really. I mean, honestly, at this point, the world's our oyster, except we don't have root access to the to this box. So I'm kind of curious as to see what we can do about upgrading our current shell, our www data, where we can access a fair amount of stuff. I mean, to be fair, like we've got access to all sorts of fun stuff over here. Look at this. We can download images. We can actually upload new stuff. We can kind of screw with the web server in any way we want. But I'm curious to see what happens if we can get root access to this machine. So let's see here. The first thing I want to do is I want to check out the WordPress folder here, because that's going to give us the Wordpress Config.php, and I want to see if we can get access to what I assume is going to be a MySQL backend here. Let's go ahead and view our loot, which will give us, hopefully, if I did this right, view, oh, my apologies, view downloads, not loot, other thing. We're going to view the WordPress config on here, and we see that it is using a root and a root password for the password. Now, a lot of times you will see passwords being shared across MySQL, things like that. So the first thing I want to check real quick, just before I do anything else, is open up a new command line here, because we did see that SSH was open on that box. We're going to SSH root at, what was it, 172.16.0.7. and we are going to, that's fine. We are going to hopefully get access to it. Password. So we're going to do root password, and oops, that was me hitting an extra key that I shouldn't have hit. So we're going to restart that. Password exclamation point, exactly as the MySQL, and oh, fantastic. Oh, even better. Perfect. So it looks like we're going to just do a lot of these, do have a file called flag.txt, and that will allow us to get our flags there for this box. So now we've gotten root access to the box, and if we do, well, we don't even have to do sudo, my apologies, we're root. I keep forgetting this, I don't usually log in as root. We can do a whole bunch of interesting things like apt-get install, or update, or I don't know, do what you want. The world, actually at this point, the world really is your oyster. You can do a whole bunch of interesting fun things, like let's do nets.pnet, see what services are actually running on here and what ports. And yeah, you can see a whole bunch of cool stuff. You can see versions for everything, and yeah, you literally now own this box. So congratulations, we've now successfully popped our first box. So I hope you've learned something. I hope you kind of get interested into this and see that this is possible. This is something you can totally do on your own. And it's sometimes very easy to do. Obviously, things like this don't happen all the time, but sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you end up getting something that's really easy. And like this, for example, and everything's just kind of like shared passwords or default passwords. A lot of the time you'll find that people just set up defaults or share passwords and they don't really think too much of it. Obviously, as you get into more advanced stuff, as you get into harder boxes, as you get into more Fortune 500 type companies, they're going to be much tighter security than this. But for the most part, especially at lower levels, especially at public facing websites that are just these cheap websites that people just throw up every now and then, you'll see stuff like this a lot, and you'll end up in a situation where you can actually access the root box here just through a couple of bad WordPress installs or bad passwords and things like that. It's quite interesting and a lot of fun. So yeah, I hope you learned a couple of things, and if you'd like, I do have a Patreon over in the description below if you'd like to subscribe to that. If you'd like to keep these coming, I honestly thank my patrons so much. Without them, these videos would not be possible. And honestly, they keep me going. So if you'd like to be a part of that, if you'd like to keep me going, then and see more of this, then please do subscribe to the Patreon. Again, description below. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If I see more of that, of course, I will do more of this. And as always, I'll see you next time.